Hello listeners, welcome to another episode of our documentary. My name is Roy Ruben and today I'm going to explore the use of animation in education and gaming here in Finland. I have A.S. Sarnen, a lecturer in animation at Tuossa Rinnakaitu campus, Mika Rumela, a principal lecturer specialized in game development at Tuossa, and Jaakko Suus, a research assistant in Turku Game Lab, who will share with us the use of animation in game and education.
Animation is a technique when you so-called frame-by-frame technique. Took one picture and move a little, but as an art form, it's more so many things. It can be a short film, it can be a very quick something moving, drawings or puppets or almost anything.
Well, the first games, of course, did not have any kind of animations. That was about 40 years ago or something. But animation has made games look more interesting, and some games actually do require animation. Yeah, the games and movies are becoming very much similar these days. Games are a lot. Actually, some of the biggest games are actually less and less interactive because of this. But they look better because they have better animations that make them look more like movies.
During the 1910s, the production of animated short films, typically referred to as cartoons, became an industry of its own, and cartoon shorts were produced for showing in movie theaters. The most successful producer at that time was John Randolph Bray, who, along with the animator Earl Hurd, patented the cell animation process, which dominated the animation industry for the rest of the decade.
Oh, absolutely. Now they say all the studios in Finland, for example, they say that you are not educating enough animators because there's a boom actually right now. And you can't never tell about the future, but I think the area is growing in so many ways, not just films, but in other aspects also. So I think there will be.
Yeah, it's very interesting for new students, and I think in that way we are in a very good situation. When we have a lot of students, the probability to get very good students, very talented students is very high. So I'm looking forward for upcoming years when we are educating them.
The animation industry has been gaining popularity in the world of today, especially that we have entered the era of information technology. Most people, when they hear the word animation, they perceive it as a video content that are only produced to entertain children. Animation is an academic field, whereas animators have a range of careers to work as a cartoonist, animation director, and graphic designer, just to mention a few.
Some of them work in the studios as animators in Finland, storyboard artists or layout artists. Then there are animation directors, film directors who direct animated films in advertisement companies, media companies making commercials for TV. There are also real artists who are animators and who use animation as part of their artwork.
Yeah, I think we have to remember also that in the future those graphical user interfaces, what we are applying in various fields, we are using this knowledge what Jaakko and the others in the game laboratory has. So animations will be everywhere. Okay. In those traditional office applications or wherever, there will be a lot of animations and nice things.
Because you mentioned advertisements, but these days we can have actually advertisements that you can play. That they are not just the animations, but they have something interactive in them also. Let's say that you want to build a bridge. You don't have the freedom to just make it the way you want. You have to make it based on the physical properties so that it works based on numbers. But in the gaming industry, you solve problems differently, at least in the graphical department and animation. It isn't all about the technical stuff so much. It's much more about your artistic vision and freedom to create stuff.
Well, there is so much to tell, but how does the world around us perceive these two fields compared to others?
Of course, when people who doesn't know so much about animation, and when I tell them that I work as a teacher in animation, they actually don't know. Not so, what are you doing? But I think almost everybody knows. They have watched cartoons and in the TV, and they know what animation is about. So I think the problem is to tell what else animation is, because animation is so much more than just the cartoons.
My kids were telling me that in the school there was a discussion about professionals, and my daughter's answer was that okay, my father is working in local university and they are developing games there, so this seemed to be much more interesting professional for the kids than many other professionals nowadays. So I guess that especially now when Rovio and Supercell and so on, they have got the big success in global game markets. Game industry is nowadays very much respected in Finland. If you look at the time some years earlier, people were just believing that okay, those boys they are just having fun, but you don't have any business opportunities if you are working in game company. But nowadays it's totally different. So many people believe that okay, this is real business and there are a lot of possibilities to earn money and grow up our society. So
I guess the problem only is that there aren't all that many big companies related to these fields in this country. So I guess they don't take it seriously because it's much more somewhere else. It's not that much here. But it is getting bigger, but apparently people just don't believe it.
The modern animation, which is now being produced using high-rendering photorealistic images, is being used by different animators to produce TV broadcasting packages, cartoon programs, music videos and games, shooting visual effects, creating TV commercials, and even informal education like health informatics.
Yeah, animation is very good to use, for example, in schools as educational, and it's also used to explain how some machine or something is working, and if you draw it and put drawings into the movement, you can explain more easily how to use some tools or whatever. And if you think about modern society with the games which are very popular nowadays. But I think in Finland, for example, we have a strong emphasis also to use art, also animation art, as part of empowering people. You know, when people who do tell their own stories by using animation, very simple animation.
And one point of view is that if we are talking about game industry or game animations, it's a combination of art and technology. So at least we as engineers, we really need those people who are artists. Without those artists and without those animations, game industry doesn't exist.
I guess one of the problems is also that because games are more related to just entertainment and fun, it isn't like, let's say, automobiles that are about transportation, but that is a field that also needs artists and technicians, because the cars have to look like something. But still people don't relate these fields together at all, even though they're only different in the area of either entertainment or transportation. So,
just to brief you, Finland animators are expected to have Animatrix Animation Festival in April 2014 whereas Finnish animation celebrates its 100th anniversary. But what is so special about this day to animators in Finland?
I think there are a lot of activities right now, and new studios are coming up, and the festival you mentioned, Animatrix, is a growing festival. It's going to turn out also international festival. So far it has been only for Finnish animations, but now it's also, they are building it up as an international festival. And especially this year, when it's the 100th year of Finnish animation, so there are lots of activities going on. But in general, I think the industry is growing in Finland, and we have some fine companies making TV series and even feature films with animated films and using animation as technique. So it's a growing industry, I think.
What is your recommendation to aspiring animators?
First of all, I tell them that if you have this dream to come an animator, don't be afraid of that. You just have to find the way how to get into the animation field. And you must have good imagination, you must have good storytelling abilities, you want to tell stories, and of course visually you have to have a good visual eyes to see things around you, and you don't have to be perfect artist as drawing very well. That's good ability to have, but it's not necessary. You can develop your own style, your own characters. They doesn't have to be, for example, realistic characters. See what's happening around you, and also maybe you have to be a bit crazy also, because it's a very time-consuming work, and sometimes it's really crazy to do animations. But all the animators I know, they love this thing what they are doing, and they love to see how they can give movement to something which is not moving, and they put it's kind of magic somehow. And I think you have to have a bit childish mind to keep this magic in you.
I think we have a lot of freedom to work, to be innovative. It can be fun, but I would underline also that if you will be good game developer, you really have to work hard. I think if you are interested about games, about game development, our message is that it's really interesting industrial area. There are needs for programmers, needs for artists, needs for game designers, storytelling things, and so on. So if you like about games, I'm sure that there is a possibility to find a place for you there.
And if you are an animator, then, well, that's a good place to start, because, yeah, if you know how to animate things, then you know how to animate games. Or at least it's easy to learn.